What is good to the hood YouTubers? I hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's jump straight into it. As promised, I was going to start doing more comic book content. Today we're going to be doing a quick little preview slash review for Berserker #1. This might be one of the biggest comic books ever that isn't DC or Marvel. This is Boom Studios. This thing got an insane print run. By the way, I got the cover A, but I know there were probably like 20 to 30 different covers, including, I mean, there are store exclusives. There's a B, and C cover. There's a 1 in 10, a 1 in 25, a 1 in 50, a 1 in 100, a 1 in 200, a 1 in 500, and there's even a 1 in 1000 that's supposed to be signed by this guy right here, Keanu Reeves, guys. He's actually supposed to be the co-writer to this comic book. That's one of the main reasons why it was blowing up the way that it was. And the main reason why a lot of people were speculating on it, believing that this potentially could be, a future film project or some sort of, project that he could be working on. But we'll see about this one. I just picked up the normal cover A. I said it before, the ratio of variants I think are going to drop later just because of such a high print run and such a high demand for this comic book. I think it's easily going to be obtainable. So for those of you guys that are looking for like the 1 in 10s and all that, just be patient. You'll be able to find it. And just to give you guys a quick little insight, it is co-written by Keanu Reeves, Matt Kent, and then illustrated by Ron Garney, all that stuff. Bill Crabtree, the colorist. But let me get straight into this one. This is going to be a bunch of panels of this Keanu Reeve-like character, or this Neo-like character / John Wick, basically just pummeling people. The entire comic book is him smashing skulls in. And there's I mean, look at this. There's already about 9 different panels, and there's maybe like 5 words in all these panels. So very little dialogue. I believe the first, this first issue is basically him just going on a mission and trying to capture some dude alive, and that's basically it. There's, he's talking to somebody else, another character. I'm assuming is going to be a main, or one of the main characters, and he's basically just thanking him, and then this Keanu Reeves like character is just like, oh no thank you, and it's just a bunch of no thank you type moments. You can see he's like, it's our anniversary of working together. It's kind of there's nothing special about the dialogue. There's nothing even comedic about it. It's a little bit redundant, kind of boring through the first few pages. If it weren't for the great action sequences, it really would be probably a total skipper for me. But look at this. I mean, it's just really good action, really good posing, really good, really good illustrations all around. I will say, I've said this before, I'm not a fan of like these type of panels where it's just absolute blank at in the background. There's just not much to look at. I personally don't like those type of comics. I like a little bit more detail if you're not telling a great story. Like, these are just action sequences, so I expect a little bit more detail. But this summarizes issue #1. Just him, punching through people's skulls and brains. There's not much dialogue. There's kind of a reveal at the end. He remembers a little something about his past, and that's basically about it, guys. I mean, it's not necessarily a skip it, but it's not a comic book. Like, if you didn't read this one and then jump into the series at #2, you wouldn't miss much. Because this one is just, like I said, it's just a conversation between him and somebody else. And then at the end, there's another little sequence after the mission, but it's only like, 4 or 5 pages. So, overall, I mean, great, and then, by the way, I hate these black spaces. I've said this before, and I'll say it again on comic books. That's why I love a lot of the DC art. What would happen usually in like a Lee style DC comic book, he'd fill it in with like little bat designs here, or just something in the background. I hate these panels that are just black like that, like missing space. It depends on what comic book it is, but if you're giving me something like this where there's no dialogue, at least give me something to look at. Don't give me no dialogue, or these two tiny little conversational bubbles here, and then expect me to just be okay with it. So it was a little bit, it's not a bad comic book. I think the action sequences are great. The art was great. It really gives you an insight into what kind of comic book this is going to be. But as you guys can see, I mean, there's one bubble for the entire page. There's 3 panels here, only one bubble. So again, I'm not going to give too much away, but I feel like it could have been a little bit better. It was a little bit redundant, a little bit kind of boring if it weren't for those little sequences. But again, if you like something brutal, if you like something, you know, gory, if you like it bloody like this is perfect for you. Basically, if you like John Wick, but if you are somebody that's looking for a little bit more story, a little bit more depth to a comic book, this is definitely going to drive you up the wall. I mean, it's just this John Wick like character just absolutely wrecking havoc. So again, in my personal opinion, what would I give this? Honestly, it's not a bad comic book. I'd probably say it's like a very, very low 7 to a high 6. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it for me personally, it fell a little bit short just because it's kind of what we've seen before from these type of comic books, and there's like little to no writing. I could see that Keanu Reeves wrote this because it has it literally has no, it doesn't move the story forward until the last 4 to 5 pages. So for me, it, you know, pick it up for what it is. I think if you go on eBay or if you go to your local shop, they probably will have a lot of these available. So don't overpay for it. Try to pay cover price, which I believe was like what, $4.99 for this particular issue. So yeah, just pick it up for cover price. Don't pick up any other ratio variants. Wait until they drop in price. For me, this is definitely a 7. It's a good, solid pickup. It's fun. It's entertaining to a certain degree. Just don't expect to be blown away by it. But yeah, guys, that is my review for BRZKR. Let me know what you guys thought of the comment. Did you the comic? Have you guys already checked it out? Let me know in the comment section. As always, I appreciate you guys taking time out to check our content. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.